Jason, I learned something brand new today. Something I've never in my life had to learn before.
What'd you learn, Jeff?
It is hard to murder a tree. Tree murder is a bitch. I mean, I saw Guardians of the Galaxy, and they were shooting that Groot dude, and it looked really easy, but when all you've got is like a piddly little handsaw, and that shit is a pain in the ass.
What, is this the one in your backyard?
Yeah.
You're just sick of that thing?
No, yeah, I woke up today. I was just like, you know what I really want to do? I came out and hey, welcome everybody to the Rage Select Podcast. I'm Jeff. Yeah,
I'm Jason.
Sorry, I should have done that before we went into this. No, I woke up this morning to this hell storm of ice and fury that we have. For those of you who don't live directly in Austin, for the last like 2 or 3 days, they've been like, oh yeah, on Thursday it's going to be crazy. The entire city is going to be shut down. Schools are canceled. I went to try to go get wings last night, Jason. Pluckers was closed at 9 o'clock.
What?
Because
everyone's like, oh, your Tauntaun will never make it past the first marker.
Right. And I woke up this morning, I look outside, and it's just like, it's like that old Bill Hicks joke. It's just like birds chirping, sun's shining, it's a little chilly, but there's not even rain on the ground. It's fucking dry. And then somehow, in the midst of the storm last night, the tree that's in my little teeny tiny backyard started growing horizontally at my condo in an aggressive fashion.
That's some poltergeist stuff. That's what's going on there.
I was thinking it was more like the Audrey 2. Like, I kept expecting it when I went outside. I kept expecting Levi Tubbs to be like, hello, Jeff. And I'd be like, God damn it. I mean, I do like to kill me some Steve Martin, but so yeah, I had to go out there, and basically it was like, when you go and you've got that drawer full of extension cords or like Christmas lights, and you pull that shit out. It was like that, but a tree. And so finally I was just like, I'm not going to untangle a goddamn tree. So I just started hacking away at it, and now now I'm like halfway through. It's like one of those things where you realize it's a terrible idea halfway through, and then you're like, oh, okay, well, there's no going back now. I'm just going to have to kill this thing entirely. And I don't know. You gave zero shits about what the Lorax is going to think about this. Dude, fuck the Lorax. The motherfucker sold out a long time ago.
Jeff, enemy of Earth.
That's right. The Onceler is number 1. All others are number 2 or lower. I'm going to start writing children's books. I'm going to start writing right-wing children's books about, like, fuck the environment. This is going to be like Horton fucks the environment. But, Jason, enough talk about my dumb domestic problems. It's been a while since you've been on. What's been, like 3 or 4 weeks?
Yeah, that's something like that.
On the podcast.
Hasn't been that long.
Yeah, I guess you got to play the Snoozer 1886 with me, which I appreciated only in as much as it didn't take a lot of time out of my day to beat that game.
Already forgotten. It's in my past. It's done.
Yeah, folks. This I talked to Jason over the weekend, and I was like, "Hey, man, do you want to borrow Order 1886 from me just so you can check it out for yourself?" And he's just like,
I'll watch the video. I'll just watch the YouTube. It'll be fine. It's the same experience.
Well, what have you been up to recently? I know that we have a pretty big story that involves the both of us to go into, but how are the other endeavors going? Are you married to Scarlett Johansson yet, or did you get her phone number for me? Or
No.
Okay.
She has sent many emails, but I am not going to give her your number.
Why not?
Because I want to deny you happiness.
Well, the internet, it's pretty much the same thing.
That's what it's going to say on my tombstone. Jeff was never happy, and that is fucking awesome. Rest in peace.
That's the mission statement. A lot of people don't know that at Rage Select. When we first sat down to start it, it was like, all right, what are we going to do? We're going to create comedy for the fans. My life is going to suck, and Jason's going to be a movie star. So, boom, there you go.
Yep. There you go.
No, I mean, when we're done with hacking the system, did you get any feedback on how it did?
Not really.
Okay.
I'm out of the loop. I heard it did all right for like the first 2 episodes, but really, I don't know. We won't know anything for a while yet if we get picked up for season 2. So who knows?
Okay,
we're not gonna get our panties, our knickers in a twist. There you go.
No, thanks.
That's
Nick.
a good one. We're not going to get our knickers in a twist over it. So, we'll see. Hopefully we'll get a season 2. If not,
okay.
C'est la vie. I've just been... well, you probably can't even guess.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Smashing tomatoes with your feet to make the perfect marinara.
Nope. Don't cook.
Okay. Let's see. Throwing cats at homeless people and filming it for your terrible YouTube channel.
Oh, that sounds awesome, but allergic to cats.
Oh, okay.
I have actually been reading a lot of comic books.
What?
Yeah, buying way too many comic books.
What?
Playing a lot of Minecraft.
God, Jesus Christ.
And drinking a lot of beer.
Okay, tell me you're at least playing Minecraft on the PlayStation 4. Give me that much.
No, because I can't transfer my map that Alice and I have been working on for a year from the Xbox 360 to the PlayStation 4.
I want to see this motherfucking map. I want to see this Minecraft map. This better be full-scale replica of the Serenity.
It's not that impressive.
Well,
it's not. I mean, it's cool. Well, we're playing it in survival mode, okay?
Okay.
So sometimes our shit gets blown up by the green dick dudes.
To make a lava moat. What are you talking about? Just make yourself a lava moat and then...
No, I've been forbidden to mess with lava. Because I always die. I lost some diamond armor that way.
Yeah.
And so I've spent the last couple of weeks just excavating all of Murphopolis. That's what we call it.
Uh-huh.
Excavating all of Murphopolis, trying to find diamond. And I found enough to build one suit of diamond armor. We need to build 2.
Yeah.
And then I go in, I'm like, oh, what happened to the diamonds? And Allison's like, oh, I built this and this and this with it. And I'm like, God damn it. So I had to go back in and pretend to be, Gimli for a while, just mining and mining and mining and looking for diamonds nonstop. That's my life. I just go down there and I just dig for just hours. Like the retard in grade school that would just sit there and dig holes in the playground.
I don't ever really, I take a lot of shit on this show about talking about Dark Souls all the time, but I'm pretty sure that you play more Minecraft than I do Dark Souls. I'm pretty sure if you add up the hours that...
It's possible. It's possible, but who talks about Dark Souls all the goddamn time? Putting my foot down right now, you can't reference it anymore, period. Don't even say it. If you say Dark Souls one more time, I'm going to punch you right in the balls.
Okay.
On a review, on a dojo, and that includes when Bloodborne comes out. You cannot fucking talk about it anymore.
Hey, you're not my real dad. You can't tell me what to do, Mr. Murphy. No.
I did it.
Jason.
No more Dark Souls.
No.
Done.
No. I will not abide by this. I will not abide by this. They would have to sit down.
It again.
Yep.
I will take you down to Chinatown.
What?
And
Chinatown?
I will leave you in Chinatown. It's proverbial Chinatown. I will leave you there with bloody and beaten without bus fare.
Right.
And you'll just be this poor naked Dark Souls, Dark Souls, Dark Souls. You're like the goddamn seagulls on Finding Nemo. Dark Souls, Dark Souls.
Well, you know what'll happen is if you take me down to Chinatown and you beat me up, leave me bloody and naked, and I'm like, and they'll be like, "What happened to you, sir?" And I'll be like, "Dark Souls." They'll be like, "Oh, my friend, I'm so sorry. Come in, sit down. Here's a controller. Play some Dark Souls real fast, and we're gonna get you all fixed up."
I told you not to say it again.
Well, wait, you can't make proclamations like that. Come on.
I did.
We're not even in the same room. If we were in the same room, you could attempt to punch me in the balls, but...
I'm going to put a poll up on Facebook.
Yeah.
Do you want Jeff to get punched in the balls every time he says Dark Souls? Dude, I wonder how that poll is going to come out.
You don't need to do that. You could say, "Do you want Jeff to get punched in the balls?" ? You don't need to. You don't need to like. You could say, "Do you want Grant to get lightly slapped in the face?" ? In fact, anything. Do you want to see me dump a bottle or a cooler full of Gatorade over the top of my head like I just won a football game? They would say yes to anything, Jason. They would say yes to literally anything. It's a show where you and
I love them.
Talk about our dicks while we play video games. The people that are still here, they'll watch it all. But enough of this. I reject your edicts. In fact, I'm even bringing Electric Boogaloo back. I've been maintaining the ceasefire on that, but that's coming back whenever I feel like it now. Ha! because I am nominated for a podcast award. You will show me some goddamn respect.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the podcast award.
Yeah, we're talking about it on every single video that comes out, so I don't really want to drive it home. But hey, here's the thing: we've been nominated. Rage Select's been nominated for podcast award, and I don't know if I got a chance to say this when we were pimping it out before, but thank you to all of you listeners listening to the actual Rage Select podcast, because you guys went above and beyond on this one. You wrote us in. We got in there.
What he means is you went behind his back.
No. That's not what happened.
For his own good.
That's not what happened. All I know is that there's a thing on the internet where my website's name is in the same list as like Rooster Teeth and Giant Bomb and the Super Best Friends, and I'm like, hell yeah, motherfucker! That's cool.
We can beat them.
You think so?
We can do it.
There's only one way, folks listening. You have to go every day for the next, at this point, it'll be like, 9 days or whatever after this podcast comes out. Every day you got to go to podcastawards.com. You got to vote for Rage Select under gaming. You have to vote for the Beerist and for Night Attack, but most vote for Rage Select, and make sure that when you vote, you're going to get an email. And you go to that email and you verify your vote, because that's the only way that it's legit. And who knows? If you guys are all super vigilant and you bug your friends and you crush lifelong friendships over this one thing, you make your friends hate you and your parents disown you, and you end up living on this in Chinatown with your balls hurting. But
your reward will be in the afterlife.
Yeah. Here's the thing that scares me, Jason. I'm pretty sure they don't tell you whether you've won ahead of time. So it becomes this,
so it's like we just have to go to Vegas and just kind of wait?
Yeah, it becomes the sort of thing where, like, well, do we want to fly to Las Vegas to potentially win an award up against some really, really serious heavy hitters, or do we want to buy, like, new cameras?
Yeah, that's stupid. Don't do that. Don't go to Vegas.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I could email them and just be like, hey guys. But yes, please go and vote. Vote every day. Encourage other people to vote. And if we're super vigilant and everybody else is, like, leaving you alone and respecting the fact that you want to listen to a podcast that's not about the podcast awards, then maybe we'll win.
And if we win, we'll do something awesome.
Oh yeah. Well,
I don't know what.
What do you get? Do you get like a $35 gift certificate to Red Lobster or something? We could live cast some cheesy biscuits.
That sounds pretty cool.
What do you get if you win the podcast awards? Do you get?
I don't. We should ask Grant.
Yeah.
He's won that with his Beerists.
Yeah.
They've won multiple times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I hope it's something good, or maybe it's just a prestige thing. I
think it's probably just like a good job. Yeah. Thumbs up. Okay, and next.
That's what I tried to tell. I told my parents that we got nominated, and they were like, "Oh, that's so awesome." And I'm like, "Well, they don't actually put the podcast awards like on TV or anything. Like, they aren't broadcast on G4 with Jeff Keighley hosting and a bunch of really terrible developer jokes or anything like that." But anyway, before we're running out, we got a lot of news stories to cover today. But before we do, Jason, something has happened. There's a story to tell.
Shit, what?
You were there, motherfucker. You didn't get that drunk.
Oh, for the thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll tell it from my perspective.
Okay.
Right. So I meet my boss for lunch, and he's also a very dear friend of mine, Rod. Mm-hmm. And we're like driving around looking for new office spaces and stuff like that. And he's like, I want to go get my comic books. I'm like, okay, cool. This is Friday, right? This is the last Friday.
Right.
He's like, I'm going to go get my comic books. I'm like, yeah, right on. And he goes in and gets his comics. And then he's like, let's go see what's going on with Randy. Let's go say hi to Randy and check in up at Rogues Gallery.
Okay, this is a question that I had when you were telling the story when I heard it. Where does he shop for comics?
He shops at Capstone Comics over on Anderson.
Traitor!
Yep, fucking Judas.
Yeah.
But I live an hour away from Rogues Gallery, and I still drive there.
Yeah.
Mostly because Randy has threatened my person if I do not.
I think you could take him. I'd pay to see that fight. That's the new Facebook poll. Do you want to see a drag-out fist fight between Jason Murphy and Randy Lander?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm game. So yeah, he said, "Oh, let's go up to Randy's, check out and get your comic books." So I did, and went and picked up comic books and everything. Then we went back to his house, and about that time, it was time to go play D&D with the Cargills. And so we're like, "Oh, okay, cool." And so we headed up there, and we're driving. I'm like, "This is a weird way to get to Cargill's house." I'm like, "What?" And then finally, we get like out by the airport. I'm like, "Wait, where the hell are we going?" And he just, "This way. We're going this way."
Yeah.
And so we drive out in the middle of nowhere. And at this point, I'm convinced that he's going to like harvest my organs or some shit.
As well you should be. This is the part of the story that concerns me, is the fact that you're just pretty cool with driving to places you've never really been before.
Yeah. I was just like, "Yeah, well, okay." And so I'm trying to figure it out. And at this point, I'm like, okay, it's probably a birthday thing, right? It's probably some birthday-ness going on. So, yeah, I just kind of rolled with it. And we drove like out in the middle of nowhere, and we drove to this. I hesitate to call it a cabin because that's not doing it justice. Cabin has like lots of like rustic connotations.
Like deadites and
also deadites,
moose heads,
mermen.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. There was none of that. There's Wi-Fi and a fully functioning kitchen, and everything was very clean and all that. And a couple of hot tubs, like 2 hot tubs. But anyway, Jeff was out there waiting for me, wearing a negligee. No, and Allison was there, and then like the whole gang, or a bunch of the gang anyway, started showing up for a weekend of movies and booze and food and more booze.
So this was, Allison, I didn't get the skinny on this, but apparently at some point when talking about your birthday, you had said to Allison, "I want to go to a cabin in the woods. I want to watch a bunch of horror movies and get drunk."
That's what I said, and it happened.
Yeah, so you just mentioned that in passing. That's a very specific set of things that you would like to do.
Yeah, I had mentioned it like a long time ago, and she's been like planning it for like 4 months or something crazy like that. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was so much fun.
Yep. So let's see the rundown. Let's see, the first night, which I like to call sixth wheel night for me, was what it was. You and Allison, the Cargills, Jeff and Brain.
Jeff Ramsey and Griffin Ramsey.
Griffin Ramsey, right, and Rod and his wife, right.
Yep, and Hi.
Well, the first night it was just
the
them.
first night.
Yeah,
first night.
And then
Yeah,
the second night we had Hi and Grant and Martin all showed up.
Yep, and Chepo and Sarah. Oh, no, you said that.
No, I didn't. And the second night,
okay.
Chepo and Sarah showed up, and so it was very cool. The first night I got to finally witness. Like, boy, I don't know if I've ever been to a Cargill gets to control the movies kind of shindig. But like the first night we watched the Dolph Lundgren classic, I Come in Peace.
Yep.
And then
you go in pieces, asshole.
God damn, that movie was it's there's so many things, like I don't know why, but usually I can watch a movie and I don't really give a shit, but for some reason I was so drunk when we were watching those movies that it was just like, why is he doing that? Why are they doing that? Why is this happening now? But nothing more so than at the end of I Come in Peace, where Dolph Lundgren goes back to his apartment, takes his shirt off, and then puts on a jacket, but with no shirt underneath it. Like,
because he's Dolph Lundgren, that's why.
Yeah, okay, but why did he take the shirt off? I mean, I don't know. Anyway, you should all go watch I Come in Peace, but I wouldn't pay more than about 99 cents to watch it if you've got to like rent it or anything.
It's better than that. It was fun. I liked it. It was better than I anticipated. I thought it was going to be a total shit show.
Had you not seen that movie before?
Not since it originally came out on VHS.
Oh yeah, and then the second and probably in my opinion the greatest of the three for the first night, Lone Wolf McQuade.
Lone Wolf McQuade. Yes,
and it was
one of the best Chuck Norris films around.
Yep. It was funny because, like, you guys, people were, Jeff, have you seen this movie before? And I was like, yeah, I think I saw it when I was a kid. And then when it came on and it was like, got to about 15, 20 minutes into it. And I was just like, oh my God, I've seen this movie like 100 times. When I was a kid, I loved the shit out of this movie. Like, it was, just David Carradine. It's basically a Bond movie if Bond was a dusty, dirty slovenly Chuck Norris.
It is probably the hairiest, dirtiest, sweatiest movie I have ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, Chuck Norris spends a lot of time. I mean, when he's not in the denim shirt, then the denim shirt is somehow off, and it's Chuck Norris's hairy-ass chest and hairy-ass face and just hair everywhere.
Yeah, and you watch it and you're just like, wow, I might as well just cut my dick off because I'm already that close to being a woman in comparison to Lone Wolf McQuaid.
Yeah, it was...
like when he's buried alive?
Yeah.
Buried alive in the Bronco, and he's like, where's the beer?
Right. Yeah, he's got a plan to get out of like his Texas Ranger Super Bronco to get out of the it would have been so easy because it's like what David Carradine, like they hold him and David Carradine like punches him out until he's unconscious basically. But then instead of just throwing him into a grave and burying him alive, like, and killing him, they put him into his super truck and then bury the entire super truck. Like, one of these things, I'm just going, just shoot him in the face, David Carradine. What the fuck? Like, if you put him in the super truck, then the super truck could come bursting out of the ground like Kit meets a zombie hand or something. I don't know.
It was great.
But yeah. No, the best part was, when he cracks that beer, it's like he drinks a little bit of it, they just pours a bunch of it on his head and like into his wounds, and I don't know. It was nuts. And then Night of the Comet, which I could say that I think by that time there was a lot of coming and going during Night of the Comet, because that movie's just freaking ridiculous.
Yeah. There's really not much of a plot going on. It's like couple of valley girls from the 80s survive the apocalypse, and they just kind of wander around L.A. for a little while. Mm-hmm. And then it's over.
Yep. Yeah. And then I guess after you guys went to bed, I stayed up with Cargill watching Mitchell for a while until he went to bed.
Yeah, I still need to see that. Now, was this the unedited version?
No, this is the MST3K version of Mitchell. Yeah, I was drunk. I kind of went for what I knew. And because that was like 5 o'clock in the morning, and we were... Also, folks, if you've ever thrown a party before and you and your friends have run out of ice, meat, cigarettes, cheese, or candy bars, well, guess what? You're not doing it right, because I walked away from that thing. I brought 36 beers into that cabin, and I walked away with like 20 of them left.
I know, and we drank so much.
And we're talking about like everybody there brought a bunch of beer with them, and then we all drank like crazy, and still there was so much left over when the whole thing was done. I mean, the amount of meat on Sunday, we grilled Sunday. Okay, I don't know what you had for dinner, Jason, but I think I was trying to kill myself because I had 2 steaks, 2 pieces of chicken, a pork chop, about 6 ribs, and a bacon-wrapped jalapeno. That was...
Oh, yeah. Griffin Ramsey brought the jalapenos, and I had several of them, and I immediately started sweating lava. And then later that day, when it came time to get rid of those jalapenos, I was nearly started screaming, "Someone please kill me!"
Wait, there were more of those? Oh, I thought that those got
when I
totally
was digesting them.
Oh, okay.
When I was done digesting them. It's a poop joke.
It's a poop joke. Okay,
yes, my rectum was burning.
And so then what, on Sunday, what did we watch? We watched, Sunday was a little bit more, well, Sunday started even lower than Saturday, but then it dramatically veered uphill into more easygoing fare, because we started with Megaforce.
Yeah.
The second movie of the weekend with a blonde, bearded protagonist. It's been a long time since I've seen Megaforce. That movie is inscrutable and completely fucking ridiculous. Like, it's
it's so bad. So bad, and yet it's of a couple of these movies that Cargill brought. He has the posters of them in his office. Megaforce is one of them.
Mm-hmm. It was just, it's been a long time. It has been a long time, and I only think I saw Megaforce once or twice. But like, there's this whole weird subplot where there's this lady that wants to go and join the Megaforce team on this mission that Devin from Knight Rider wants him to do, and the head Megaforce jerk off, he's like, haha, you can't come, we're the most highly trained soldiers ever. And she's like, all right, well, test me. And so they test her. There's a whole montage where they test her, and she just blows all the Megaforce dudes out of the water. I should definitely add the out of the water at the end, where she passes every test. She's a total badass. She could drive their wheelie motorcycles where they've got to do a sick ass wheelie bro to shoot their machine guns off of them. And then at the end, the guy's just like, "Yeah, that's great. You still can't come with us." It's like. What? And then you figure there's going to be some part of the plot where like one of the Megaforce dudes gets injured, and then it's like she's got to come in. Nope, she's gone.
Nope. Yeah, it's just like, we're bored with that. Whatever.
And I was really confused because like halfway through the movie, the bad guy just walks up to the entire Megaforce army, and he's just like, "Hey, everybody!" And they're like, "Hey, bad guy!" And they,
yeah, it was. They were really treating each other more like they were going to play paintball.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so, and then what was it? It was Megaforce, and then it was Wrath of Khan, and Wrath of Khan really triggered for me a moment where so folks, while there was like three of us watching Wrath of Khan, and in the other room, it was like the
Cards Against Humanity.
It was the dream team of Cards Against Humanity, right? It was all these people playing Cards Against Humanity. But you guys were so goddamn loud, Jason. And there was a part where I considered getting up and going in there just being like, have some fucking respect. Wrath of Khan is on, you assholes. Keep it down in here.
Instead, we were talking about putting mason jars into anuses and so forth.
Yeah, Cards Against Humanity is great. And then
I didn't win.
Yeah, you didn't. Actually, yeah, Griffin cleaned up on that, right?
Yeah.
But
she took it her first time playing. I just, I failed myself. I brought shame to the dojo.
I don't think Cards Against Humanity is really a game. You could try your best at it, but it's so dependent on the sense of humor of the person playing, the sense of humor of the game as it goes on, and the cards that you get in your hand. Because inevitably, at some point, Cards Against Humanity are just like, this is all garbage. All of these cards are just terrible garbage. And then you get one good card, and you play that really good card on one, and then somebody's got one that's just like twice as good as that one, and you're like, son of a bitch. So
yeah, at one point I had cards like, attention to detail, and then other people are like giving a forcible banana catheter to a zombie.
Right. Yeah,
that's not fair.
I've never thought of Cards Against Humanity as the sort of game that I play to win, because it's so subjective. It could go any way, and I don't know. It's just not worth getting bent out of shape over. And then we watched Jason's favorite movie of all time.
Yeah,
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I could watch it again right now.
It's been a long time. It's been a while since I've seen that. And it was the first time actually that Grant got to see it. Poor Grant. I think he got a little bit too hyped up before Grant got to see it.
Yeah, he wasn't impressed, huh?
Yeah, well, he was. I don't know if it's that. I think it's just the sort of thing where, sometimes you get these sorts of movies where if you didn't see them when they first were a thing, like specifically with some horror movies, like if you don't see them around the time they came out, they kind of, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre was doing something very interesting for the place that it was released in horror, and if you don't have that context, you're losing a little bit of it. Plus, there's tons of movies out there where it's just people won't shut up about them, right? And so when you finally go to play them, or when you go to watch them, you're just like, this is all right, but what the hell is everybody so up in arms about?
Yeah, it was the first time Griffin had seen it as well, and she was just kind of like, it was a slasher movie. I'm like, it's so much more than that.
Well, you got to admit, they spent a lot of time in the beginning of Chainsaw, like, just screwing around. It takes a while to get going.
It lulls you into a false sense of security. There's some jaunty folk music playing. Everything's just do. Everything's okay. And then that steel door slams, and it's screaming for an hour. It's like, the hippies you're done. Your time is over, hippies. Now is the age of Leatherface.
I'm worried that you're watching a different movie than I was, because the beginning didn't really lull me into a false sense of security. It was more just like, because that dude gets on why would you pick up a hitchhiker ever? I mean,
probably not. No.
Would you? But ever? I mean,
I have had to hitchhike before and been picked up, so I can't say never, because I want to pay back the favor, but I'm afraid that it'll be some guy who tells me about working in the slaughterhouse.
Or my brother, he makes real good head cheese.
At the very least, like, if you want to be just as reasonable as humanly possible, when you've driven to a town to check to see if your loved one's remains have been exhumed and put on public display, maybe not picking up randos on that particular stretch of country road would be a good idea. Just saying.
Again, see, they were hippies coming out of the summer of love, and they didn't realize that things were different now. This was the movie that marked the end of the 60s. It was 1974, but it was still like, no, hippies, that shit's done. That shit's done, and now we are in a new age of pessimism and chaos and cannibalism.
Let me give you a hypothetical scenario. Here's a good one, right? Okay, be honest, be truthful, Jason. If you saw the main blonde lady from Texas Chainsaw Massacre wander out into the road covered in blood, not even with a Leatherface chasing her, but just standing in the middle of the road screaming, help me, help me, help me, help me. Do you think you'd stop?
Yes, but I would stop at a safe distance.
Okay.
I would stop and I'd be like, bitch.
You come here. No, you come over here.
And be like, you stand. No, I would be like, you stand right there.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to call the police.
So you just
because I think there might be something heinous afoot.
But you would stand there and wait for the police in the middle of the road? Dude, you've got, that's like horror movie 101. You're totally going to get stabbed.
I'm in my car. The engine's running.
Right.
It's in drive.
Yeah.
And keeping my eyes open. I'm just like, you just stand right there.
Mm-hmm.
And if she starts getting chased, I'm like, okay, fine. Get into the back of the truck, and then we'll drive away. Which is what happened.
So if you saw her and there was a chainsaw swinging maniac like 6 feet behind her, would you attempt to intervene into that situation to get her away from the chainsaw wielding maniac?
No, film that on my phone, put it on World Star Hip Hop. That's what I'd do. That's a million hits right there.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I'd start going, World Star, World Star.
I could just see that video, the really grainy cell phone video of the woman in the street, the chainsaw guy just chasing around the circle, and then he manages to hit her with the chainsaw. You're just like, oh, damn! That bitch got hit with the chainsaw. Did you see that?
Oh!
And then what? It was John Wick, which I think.
Oh yeah,
this is kind
John
of
Wick
placeholder, and then Tapeheads, I think, was the way that it.
Yeah, I was already out by the time Tapeheads came around because I made the mistake of getting into the hot tub.
Yeah,
and I can't handle the hot tub. I get into the hot tub and suddenly it's just like, okay, you got to go to sleep now. It doesn't. I hadn't even drank that much or anything. It was just like, nope, hot tub equals coma.
You need to you either need to be in the hot tub like very much at the beginning of the night when you still got a full head of steam going, or if it's one of those hot tubs that's near a pool. I know that this is like supposed to be the worst thing in the world for you. Jump out of that hot tub, jump right into the pool, and boy, you won't be ready to go to sleep then. I
should have gone down to the river.
Oh God. Yeah, we were by a river. It was also just raining, drizzling the entire weekend.
It was like 34 degrees or something like that.
Yeah.
It was a really, really shitty weekend weather-wise.
Yeah, I mean, every day, or it was like just this constant train of smoking underneath. They didn't have even like a deck or anything. It was just this teeny tiny, little 1.5-foot awning to stand under.
Well, there was a deck at the guest house that the Ramseys stayed in.
Yeah,
but who Nobody ever went over there, you know? Nobody. No, that was a house just for people who were sleeping and didn't want to enjoy the shindig.
I felt really bad because I had to go over there to poop one day because all the other...
Oh, did you really?
All the other bathrooms were full up, and I was like, I've waited for a reasonable amount of time, but I think it was like everybody was taking bubble baths or something in there, and I was just like, all right. So it was the most awkward thing in the world because I don't really know Jeff or Griffin Ramsey all that well, so I walk up and I'm just like, hey, can I use your bathroom real quick? And they're like, yeah, we're going on a walk. And what'd they say? Don't put on all our clothes while we're gone. Ha-ha. And I was like... Ha is that boy, I need to get a haircut or something. I'm coming across all wrong today.
What's weird is that there's not even a bathroom in that guest house.
Really?
So I don't know where you pooped, dude.
Yeah, I think it was.
Did you poop in Jeff Ramsey's suitcase?
Hey, you know what? I can't talk about that. All right. Yeah, it's actually the first time I met that guy. It was funny because you guys all, it's like when you get that number of people like you and Cargill and Rod and you guys all start talking about movies in a level of detail that I just have no idea. I'm just sitting there going, uh-huh, mm-hmm, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. So, given all that, what would you say? I mean, we didn't have any like super wacky stories that, you know, it's not like Grant jumped through a plate glass window or, you know, Cargill took his pants off and went swimming in the river. I mean, it was
pretty sedate. You know, nobody got out of hand or anything like that. I can't really think of anything that was just particularly outrageous. It was just a bunch of old people sitting around eating a lot of food. So I'm trying to think of something wacky that happened. I don't have anything. I don't have anything at all.
It's mostly just like solid drinking. And I mean, I couldn't even really get that drunk on the second night because I had to come back. This place is like 90 minutes from my house. It was like, it's nothing worse than waking up on Sunday and having to drive 90 minutes back to Austin drunk still from the night before.
Oh, yeah. See, I didn't have that problem. It was about an hour from my place. But, yeah, I never did drink too much. Yeah.
Yeah, I did first night.
I think you were maybe the only one
who drank too much.
Lot.
Oh, who drank a lot?
Yeah. I think everybody else is pretty reasonable.
I don't understand that. I mean, I don't really understand that. Anyway,
I tried. It wasn't for lack of trying.
Well, I tell you what, as good as that is, let's switch it over to the news because we've got a fair amount to run through today, and I don't know how much you've seen, but we're going to start with my favorite topic to talk about of all time. Can you guess what it is, Jason?
I'm not even going to say it because I told you you're not supposed to say it, so I'm not going to say it either. What is it? Tell me.
Ha! It's not. Well, actually, I switched the stories around, so that's not even a good intro anymore. So, tricked you twice. There's a new rock band coming out. It is confirmed. Rock Band 4 is currently in development.
I saw that, and I thought they were I thought that was dead. I mean, I thought that was dead.
Nope. Apparently, I mean, Harmonix's a company since Rock Band 3, you know, they put out like that Rock Band Unplugged. Do you remember we played that one time? And they put out a couple of different, they put out like that music shooter. I don't know if that actually ever came out. But there's a news story today. Rock Band 4 coming out, PlayStation 4, Xbox One. It looks like, so here's some details. They're trying to get it so that you can use the old peripherals that you had in your previous rock bands on the new ones, but I think that they're going to go only they're still going to be console specific. So if you have PS3 instruments, they're going to be able to be used on the PS4. Maybe let's see. Hardware technology, security protocols. Anyway, it looks like they're working on that. The other thing is that they're also trying to work on making sure that if you bought songs on the PlayStation 3 or the Xbox 360, you can play them on the Xbox One or PS4. You know, but they're not going to be able to go cross service, I don't think. So if you bought them on the 360, you're not going to be able to get them on the PS4 and vice versa.
But that's surprising that they're not making you buy. I mean, it's a good idea. But it's surprising that they're not making you buy everything over and over again, you know?
Yeah.
Because, how are they going to make money?
Well, I mean, I think that somebody made a good point in one of the comment sections of one of the, because oh my God, I swear, Jason, I don't know how you feel about Rock Band. How do you feel about Rock Band? Are you excited to play a new Rock Band game?
No, I don't. I never really liked it.
You never liked it even when it was a thing?
No, I wasn't into it. No, I tried. It just didn't do it for me.
Okay. Well, I loved having the Rock Band parties. I thought that shit was the shit. Except you had to have the right people, right? If you went to a Rock Band party where they were just like, yeah, I bought all the Striper packs, and you're just like, oh, God. But I loved it, but I was reading, it was the comments section on, I think it was the first place that I saw one of the announcements was some website, and I hit on the comment section, and oh my God, it's been, okay, you know what? It's been, let's see, when did Rock Band... No, not Rock Band. When did Guitar Hero, the game, come out? When did Guitar Hero, the game, first come out, Jason?
Man, I don't know.
2005.
Okay.
So that's
a long time ago.
Almost a decade ago. Almost 10 years that Guitar Hero has been out. Rock Band 4 was announced today. Scroll down to the comments. What do you think the first thing that I see in the comments is?
What is it?
I don't know why you would spend so much time playing this. You just learn how to play a guitar. My fucking God. Like, seriously.
I can't really argue with that. It's a good point.
You can't? You can't argue with that? You can't argue with that.
Because I see some people who are so good at Rock Band, Randy Lander, with their hands like spinning all over the fake guitar, and their fingers look like spiders just like being electrocuted, and they're so good at that. I'm like, wow, you could be really good at guitar with all this time you've spent playing this dumb fucking game.
Right. You could be really good at anything with the time that you played playing that dumb fucking game. Any game. How much time you put into Minecraft? You could have built a deck onto your house. You could have built a third floor onto your house. You could have gone to the backyard and mined limestone out of your backyard and created a bomb shelter.
I'm going to be honest with you. That's a dumb fucking comparison.
Well, I am so goddamn sick of this comparison that people for years who just completely discount the fun that you have playing Rock Band with hours of sitting around tediously learning how to play the guitar. Learning how to create songs on the guitar is not the same as the experience of Rock Band where you have an instantaneous gratification of colored lights and stuff. And I think that comparison is fucking idiotic. It's like,
and this is why, say it with me, everyone.
What's that?
Jeff can't close.
Aw.
Think about how different your life would be if you could play the guitar in real life, IRL, as good as you could on Rock Band.
Motherfucker, I can play the drums in real life as good as I can in Rock Band.
Drummers don't get laid.
Well, but yeah.
Drummers sleep on couches.
That's what I decided to learn how to play. All right. But yeah, I'm very excited about this, and I think that everybody just needs to shut their fucking mouths about the whole learning how to play guitar. The only thing that does kind of irritate me about this, though, is that, remember in Rock Band 3 they had the keyboard, and they did have the actual pro guitar that they sold that was a guitar. Yeah. And they even had a second one that was it was like a Guitar Hero controller, but it had buttons all over every fret that you actually had to move your hand up and down and put them in the right position as if you were playing guitar. Apparently, pro keys and pro guitar are not going to be supported in this. So those instruments will not be ported into Rock Band 4.
So how is it going to be different aside from that?
I don't think it's going to be very different. I think it's just going to be a new set of songs. It's going to be bringing the stuff to a new generation. It's going to be giving a new group of people the chance to play Rock Band all over again, which is,
okay,
as far as I'm concerned, absolutely fine in my opinion, because the shit was fun, and it was just like, I've said this before, it felt like everybody just decided at the same time, nope, we're done with that. It's now lame.
It was weird, right? Because it was such a thing, and then all of a sudden, gone.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it was just like Best Buy's not carrying it anymore. You couldn't find anything, and everyone was just done with it.
It was
really strange.
It was more than that. It was like brain parasites came in the middle of the night because it's like my friend who was always cool with coming over and playing Rock Band with me. It's like 1 week they were like, yeah, let's totally do it. Let's get some beers. Let's play some Rock Band. It'll be fun. And then it's like the next week I was like, so you want to come over and play Rock Band again? They're just like, no, I'm done with that. Done with Rock Band entirely. I never want to play it again. And I also hate it now for some reason. It's like, okay. Anyway, yeah, I don't think there's really going to be all that much of a difference. Like, they don't seem to have any different stuff, but I don't know, looking forward to it.
That's cool. I mean, a lot of people loved it, so maybe they just needed to take a breather and just rejuvenate interest in the franchise. I'm curious to see how it's going to perform.
Yeah, it'll probably do all right, at least break even. Speaking of new and interesting things, here was the thing I was trying to lead into before, but last week, HTC, it was announced that HTC is partnering with Valve for a Steam VR-powered VR headset called the Vive, or Vive.
Yep, I saw that. What are we up to now, 4?
Oh, there's tons. It depends.
As far as VR headsets.
Well, I mean, at least, okay, so there's at least Oculus and Steam and Sony in the big stuff, right? But then I think there's also like a few little smaller folks who have announced like Kickstarters. I saw a Kickstarter the other day for something that was like the Gear VR. You know about that? The thing that you put your phone into instead of, it's like an Oculus headset, but you put your phone into it.
Yeah.
But it was one that was being made to be flexible enough that you could put any phone into it. Right, but like kind of like Google Cardboard, but more sturdy and made to be used for a longer period of time. But this thing is basically, let's see, it's going to have a slightly higher refresh rate than I think the Oculus. So 75 on the Oculus, 90 on the Vive. I'm going to call it a Vive. You guys can all tell me I'm saying it wrong. 1280 by 1080, two 1280 by 1080 displays. Full 360-degree viewing. It's supposed to have a couple of different peripherals that you can put to give you a 15-foot by 15-foot area that you can walk around inside of. So it's being kind of built from the ground up to be more flexible as far as different than just sitting in a chair with Oculus headset on. And I think that those screens, I was reading something where they said that the screens are going to go out a little bit wider so that they are going to try to get more of your peripheral vision, at least left and right, than the Oculus does, which is nice because there is kind of a black border around your viewport when you're looking through that thing. And it's supposed to be, is this the one where they announced it's supposed to be out in 2016? I don't know. Anyway,
here's my assessment of it.
Yes.
I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to speak plainly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You know why? Because it's not called Half-Life 3.
That's going to make... I've got 3 pieces of news from Valve, Jason. I'm going to spoil it for you right now. None of them are Half-Life 3.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're fucking around, Valve.
Actually, you know what? One of them might be the beginning of Half-Life 3.
I doubt it.
I don't know. Wait till you hear it.
Heard that one before.
I don't know. This is, once again, I think it's good. Every time that they come up with shit like this, I'm interested to know. The first thing I want to know is what's their price point going to be, because Steam has already shown, or Valve has already shown, that like those Steam boxes are wildly overpriced, in my opinion, for what you're getting inside of the thing, as opposed to a full desktop computer. I keep saying it, but in order for this tech to get out there and stay out there and try to woo developers, it's got to be priced in a way that people can get their hands on it without, selling their children and their blood and organs for it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna wait and see which of these VR sets rises to the surface.
Yeah. No, okay. So Sony, that's another story that was out there. Sony announced that Project Morpheus is supposed to arrive in the first half of 2016. But Yeah, when we ran the story on the website about this, somebody went into the comments and they were like, "Oh, I bet Jeff is going to have brand loyalty to Oculus," and I wrote back, and I'll say it again here: I have no brand loyalty to Oculus. I have brand loyalty to VR as a concept, and whoever does it the best for the least amount of money, as far as I'm concerned, they get it. They get my money. They get to run away with it. I don't give a shit if Crystal Cove from Oculus is garbage, then fine. There's enough people out there making other stuff that I just want the concept to continue to move forward, because that's the exciting thing, not any particular one company or another.
Whoever brings the goods. Mm-hmm. Period. That's it. What makes the gaming experience the best? Great. That's what we'll go with.
I really want somebody. What really needs to happen is that. And I can't tell if this is going to happen with anybody or if it is ever going to, is that there is no end of goddamn tech demos to look through your Oculus and look at. There is no end of roller coasters and look at this apartment building and look at this teeny tiny game that's kind of garbage. Somebody needs to put out a game, a legitimate, honest to God, or they need to take an existing game like Valve did with Half-Life 2, but something newer than Half-Life 2, something that has a better graphics or is more well-known, and they need to cram some VR support into it as a way to really showcase what a full game release looks like on this stuff, because right now it's still a little... It's hard to find anything, really. I mean, there's a few games that do it, but a lot of them are either indie or early access, and they're real rough around the edges, but... it'd be nice to have somebody really take a stab, a AAA developer really take a stab. But right now, I guess there's no real financial incentive to do so. Let's see. All right, so next up is, speaking of those overpriced Steam machines, this is really, really brief. Apparently, Alienware and Falcon Northwest Steam machines are slated for release this November. I've talked about this over and over again with a whole bunch of different people. You remember these things, right? I think these things are going to just flop on their face. I mean... I
know. They're going to need a huge marketing blitz behind it if they're going to want to get them into anyone's hands, but I still don't understand the allure.
The thing is that if I could kind of see the allure if they made sure that the machines were price competitive with the next gen consoles, right? Because there's a limited number. Like, I actually looked at it, that Steam is getting better about this. If you actually go to Steam Powered, you can see what games are available, and that was one of our big questions about what games were going to be available on the Steam OS. And when you look at it, like, there's a list. They put a bunch of them on sale this week. Dying Light, Evolve, Shadow of Mordor, XCOM, Enemy Unknown, Borderlands Pre-Sequel, Total War Attila. Like, there's a bunch of them that are totally, and indie stuff like Besiege and Talos Principle and stuff. So there is content there. It's not every game, but it's some games. So they need some kind of hook if they're going to want to charge you. Even if they want to charge you $500 at this point, you go... PlayStation 4 is $400. Xbox One is $350. If your Steam machine is $500 and it's got fewer games on it, what am I getting that's going to entice me to buy that?
Well, and the specs aren't really much better than what's on a console, right?
They're better, but it comes down to, again, I mean, this is one of those things with the whole PC Master Race thing. It comes down to this question of, are they better enough to justify another, $100 or $200 up front? Like, does it really look that much better than the PS4 does now? I tell you what I really want is God damn it. What I really need now is a third. Actually, wait a minute. Fuck, I do have one. I need to plug in, the third hard drive into my PC, download SteamOS, put it on there, and just see how it performs. Because if it performs a shitload better, great. If it's 25% faster than running your shit on Windows because it doesn't have all that garbage in Windows to keep up with, okay, I'll totally use that if it's available. But I would never switch to it as my primary mode of gaming because there's just a limitation to the games, and I don't know. Yeah.
Also, you have Steam.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Well, for me, as far as the Steam box goes, I have a gaming PC, and I don't know. It just seems like a hard thing to. It seems like it'd be hard for Steam to crack into the market right now when Sony and Microsoft are going at each other like, tooth and nail to get customers. Who is sitting there going like, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, that shit's garbage. I'm waiting for the Steam box.
No, it's still, I think, really selling to a niche market.
Yeah, I just don't know how many people in that niche market are going to be looking for this over. Like, I feel like people that are that brand loyal to Steam, they have PCs already. So
exactly.
Yeah. And then last but not least, this is the one that I said could actually lead to Half-Life 3, Jason. So, the Source engine that Valve has been using for ever, pretty much.
Yeah, they just announced Source 2.
Yep, they just announced there's going to be a Source 2 engine, which, in all honesty, if you're looking to get a Half-Life 3 out there, I'd say you probably, Source launched with Half-Life 2, if I'm not mistaken, right? Because Half-Life 1 was a modified Quake engine.
That sounds right, yeah.
I may be wrong about that. It's been a while, but... I could see them developing Source 2 and then releasing it, releasing that alongside of Half-Life 3 is essentially a showcase of what the Source engine can do. So I don't know. At this point, when something like Half-Life 3 occurs where it's been in development, it's been teased for so goddamn long, I just convince myself it's never going to happen, and then when it does, it's a fantastic surprise.
When did Half-Life 2 come out? When did Half-Life 2 Episode 2 come out?
Half-Life 2.
I'm perfectly capable of looking it up right now, but I want you to do it.
Let's see. Half-Life 2 Episode 2 released October 10th, 2007. 8 years ago.
Jesus Christ. Come on, guys.
Yep. And let's see. Half-Life 2, just core base, November 16th, 2004. 11 years ago. Or, well...
Inexcusable.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, though, like...
At this point, it's Duke Nukem.
At this point, if you're Valve and you like, if I was Valve, I would just come out and be like, we're never releasing Half-Life 3. I'd be like, why? Like, because no matter what we make, it will not be as good as you want it to be. It's been 11 years, and you guys have been excited about the sequel to this game for 11 years straight. The people have never stopped asking about Half-Life 3 for that entire time. It could be the best game ever, and at least half of your intended audience would just be like, oh, no. You fucked up the reload, and the multiplayer is as good as Half-Life 2. I'm going to go back to Half-Life 2.
No, you're absolutely right. There is no way they can release anything that will live up to expectations, unless they were to drop it on us, like, right now, and it were amazing. And it would have to be perfect and amazing. And that's not going to happen.
No game is ever going to be good enough for that. I got some hypothetical questions for you. Okay, Jason, you got your magic game wand. You can have Half-Life 3 right now or Left 4 Dead 3. Which would you rather have?
Ooh. You know what? I'm going to go with Half-Life 3.
Okay.
Left 4 Dead 3, I think the reason they haven't released anything on that is because Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 were basically the same damn game with new levels. Yeah, and different characters. So, I mean, I don't know what else they would do with Left 4 Dead. With Half-Life, there's more of a story to tell. With Left 4 Dead, it's like, oh, okay, here's more Left 4 Dead.
Half-Life 3 or Portal 3?
Half-Life 3.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think there's still enough compelling story to be told in the Half-Life universe. Okay. Portal 3, I think, would be really, really cool. Would rather see Half-Life 3.
I think I care more about Portal than I do about Half-Life, just because I like the story more. And I've really always wanted them to have that Portal chaos spill out of the testing facility and into the actual world itself. Like there was a
Right.
there was a hack where you could use the portal gun in Half-Life 2, and it was like incredible. I'd love to see them get really down and dirty with the idea of making you like a first-person shooter, like Half-Life 2, something like Half-Life 2, with a portal gun in it as well. Well, speaking of engines, there was also a lot of movement this week on the Unreal front, and you don't do a lot of PC gaming, Jason. I don't think that you probably would have seen this, but
no, I did see it. I saw the update there.
Okay, well, the first thing is that apparently now Unreal Engine 4, you can develop on it for free.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, apparently
I didn't see that.
Unreal, like you can download this Epic thing, and it actually looks a lot like Steam. When you download it, it's got 3 different options. It's got here you can play the pre-alpha of the Unreal 4 on this one map, multiplayer map. You can install the engine to just build whatever you want to in Unreal 4 engine, or you can go to the marketplace where you can either buy assets or post assets that other people can buy that you can then dump back into the engine and make stuff with. Apparently, the way that this is going, it's developers won't pay Epic anything until and unless shipped products earn $3,000 gross, with royalties asserted quarterly at 5%, which seems like not a bad deal, to be honest. I mean, I don't know how much you generally tend to make off of. I don't know what it cost to license Unreal before, so I have no frame of reference. But it seems cool that they're like, until you make your first $3,000, we're not coming for any of it, right?
Yeah, that actually sounds pretty reasonable. I wonder how much it costs to actually license it. We can probably find that out, but yeah, it's. I've always wondered why people don't just rent out an engine or license out an engine rather than making their own. Because so many games seem to make their own engine. Not a lot, but a noticeable amount. When it's like, well, why don't you just use Unreal or Frostbite or whatever?
Well, I think that in the previous console generation, when they were really trying to squeeze performance out of the hardware that they had there towards the end. This is just based on a few things I've heard on podcasts, so I may be completely just talking out of my ass here, but I think that a lot of times what it was that you could use Unreal 3, but if you really wanted Unreal 3 to look really good, you needed to use it, and then you needed to alter it. You needed to have some people in there altering the engine so that it did what you wanted it to do as well as possible, and then to just get rid of anything superfluous that was going on inside of it that would slow down the experience that you were trying to get people to have on your console. And I think that's the other reason why I feel like everybody's moving to, half the stuff I see on Steam now is in Unity, and between Unity and Unreal, and we'll have Source 2 at some point. The Frostbite engine is just internal to Activision, right? Activision. I always get EA and Activision. Is it EA? EA. Which one is it? Who makes Battlefront? EA.
Battlefront is EA. Yeah.
EA. Yeah, it's EA's engine, proprietary to them. I've never really been all that blown away by Frostbite. I mean, it's a decent looking engine, but it kind of runs like shit, or it has whenever I've run it on my PC or on my console, compared to some of the other stuff. I mean, Unity has a lot of promise, and you can rent out Unity. I don't know. I guess it's great because it just means that getting Unreal into as many hands as humanly possible is a good thing, because the more people that are using it, the more optimized it'll be, and the better looking games we'll get for it. I also played just very briefly the level that they had, and it looked good. I jacked the settings up to Epic, and doesn't quite run fast enough on my console or on my PC. So
is it time to get you another one again?
I don't know. Not really. See, the thing is that on my PC, a lot of people. I was using my PC for a lot of things. What I realized is that I render so many goddamn videos, and you can't play games and render video at the same time unless you've got some kind of server render farm. Yeah, exactly. That I do most of my stuff on the PS4 anyway, because I don't have to worry about slowing it down. But anyway, I think this is really cool, and I think that for all of those people who listen to us who have always thought like, "Hey, I want to make a video game," why not just go download Unreal Engine 4 on your PC? See what it's like, because it doesn't cost you a goddamn thing, and it's a pretty I mean, I don't know if it's fully featured or what, but it's pretty. I've seen stuff made in it, and it seems like the models, textures, lighting, and stuff are all top-notch. So you're at least not starting with some kind of garbage freeware engine that, has limitations or problems. Let's see here. Next up, Jason, there is finally a solid release date for Metal Gear 5 Phantom Pain.
I saw that. Are you trying to find a way to self-induce a coma until said date?
No, I'd miss Bloodborne if I did that.
No, okay. Good answer. What's the date again? September 10th? Is that right?
Yeah. Yep. No, September 1st.
September 1st. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And great. That was there. Again, like I said before, when there's a game that's more than, like, say, a month away from it, I've gotten pretty adept at tricking my brain to just being like, yeah, it'll come out someday in the far-flung future when we'll all have lightsabers and flying cars and shit like that. And then suddenly it sneaks up on me. So it's coming out in December. That's great. I'm glad it's confirmed that it's coming out this year. September. I don't really have much more to say about it because, there's a collector's edition that comes with an arm. And if I bought collector's editions, I would totally get the one that has the arm. But
an actual arm of a child from Thailand.
That's right. They just chop him off. No, he's got a robot arm in this game, and it comes with a little robot arm, and it's like, great stuff that I wouldn't actually. I'd just throw it in a box, and then it would get broken. Fine. It's been a while since maybe this came up, but this is one of the ones you don't give a shit about, or you
do
not
give a shit? Care, sir. Do not care.
Not even going to play it when it comes out.
No, not really. Yeah, not my thing. I mean, I respect the fact that you are all erect nipples and throwing a parade for the arrival of this game, but I'm just like, oh, okay. Is this your number one most anticipated? This one right here?
I was talking with somebody about this. It's weird. The Souls series and Bloodborne may have overtaken Metal Gear as my favorite franchise because it's been so goddamn long since there's been a Metal Gear game out, and I've played all of them so many times that I've kind of squeezed all the enjoyment I can get out of that franchise. But I don't know. Between this and Bloodborne and Batman and about 3 or 4 other different things, there's a lot to look forward to this year.
That's my number one most anticipated right there. Batman.
Batman? Witcher 3?
Yeah.
Witcher 3 looks hot.
Witcher 3. Witcher 3 is going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Batman, son. Batman.
What they also said that there was a thing in this article that I'm looking at that said the words Mad Max. I think they said they canceled Mad Max for the 360 and the PS3.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's coming out only for the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. So there's that. Well, I'll tell you maybe a game that you do care about, and I don't know if you saw this trailer, but apparently this May we're returning to Castle Wolfenstein.
Yeah. I'm excited about that.
BJ Blazkowicz is coming back in Wolfenstein: The Old Blood, a 2-chapter standalone adventure that takes place in 1946, before, obviously, the New Order, and has him sneaking into Castle Wolfenstein. So you're actually very excited about this?
I'm not very excited, but looking forward to it. I'll check it out. I liked Wolfenstein quite a bit.
Yeah, I just wonder if
it was underrated, I think.
Oh, I absolutely agree. I guess what I wonder is without the whole swinging 60s part of Wolfenstein, is it just going to be? I mean, I saw the trailers for it. It looks like it's a lot of the gameplay from the New Order, but I wonder if taking away that kind of fresh new take on the whole Nazi thing is just going to end up, because I think I'm still goddamn sick of goddamn Nazis, man.
Nazis and zombies, man. They just need to be retired.
Yeah. Anyway, though, the trailer for it looks good. It looks cheesy, kind of tongue-in-cheek, kind of reminded me a little bit of the way that Nazi zombie army was marketed. Definitely not taking
everything about the Wolfenstein, the last Wolfenstein game, was a little tongue in cheek, but they managed to carry it with some seriousness that didn't really make it devolve into parody.
Yeah, Absolutely. Oh, shit, we're going way over here. We got to start jumping through here. EA shut down Maxis Emeryville, the studio that made SimCity and a few other games. So
This is what happens, Larry.
this is what happens when your game always has to be online, when you just lie and lie and lie to us. Well, I have a feeling that the individual people who worked at the company didn't, they weren't the ones making those direct decisions. So pour one out for those old SimCity folks. Apparently, this has been 12 years that studio's been around, which is quite a while in the
That's a
industry.
lifetime in game development studios.
Yep. Let's see. Elite Dangerous is coming to the Xbox One as a timed exclusive, and then eventually to the PS4 as well, which is cool news. I hope that all that really means is that they finally figure out how to make controller support more of a thing on the PC version, because I've tried to play that game on the PC and it is freaking difficult and inscrutable, and it's one of those games where it's like every button on the PlayStation or on the Xbox controller is mapped, and then you've got 2 or 3 buttons that are modifier buttons that then hold down this button, and now here's all of the other things that these buttons do. And for the most part, you just have to remember all of that shit. So I hope that if they're porting it, that does give them a little bit more flexibility for people using a controller on the PC.
I got to tell you, I'm not alone in this. Mm-hmm. Some of us yearn for the days of one button.
What, Atari 2600 style?
No. I'm talking like Tempest, Joust.
Right.
What's the button in Joust? Flap.
Oh.
What's the button in Tempest? Shoot.
Yeah.
If you want to get really complicated, Sinistar, shoot, and Cinnabons. But I think there's something to be said for the simplicity. I think it's alienated a lot of people. That said, I'm not going to stick with that sentiment entirely. Mm. But yeah, whenever you start like, well, there's so many buttons, you have to have a keyboard. My reaction is, well, fuck you. I'm not playing this game.
Yeah, in all honesty, with Elite, it wouldn't really be a problem, except that I want to play Elite on the Oculus. And so I can't look at my keyboard with the goddamn Oculus on, so that doesn't really help out.
That's a good point.
Plus, I don't know. I need to go back to Elite Dangerous at some point, because I bought it, and I tried playing it, and I went through the tutorial, got a bounty mission, and then flew all over the goddamn universe looking for the bounty and couldn't find it, and was just like, well, this is boring, and I'm going to go play something else now. In a strange turn of events, Blizzard is going to allow people to buy gold in WoW, finally, for realsies. You can dump your...
Sounds like they're kind of struggling, eh?
Maybe. I can't tell, because one of the things they're going to allow you to... It doesn't... From the article that I read, it doesn't look like you can actually take any money out of the game. But what you can do is, if you do put money in the game, you can buy tokens with gold off of the... Well, you can buy tokens with money, with real money, that can then be sold at the auction house. People can buy them with gold, and then those tokens can be redeemed for months of subscription access. So they're pulling an EVE Online where it looks like if you make enough gold inside of WoW, you can actually make the game free, because you can buy the tokens that basically keep your month-to-month expenses going on with in-game currency, which is interesting. Yeah, I don't know what Elder Scrolls just went. They took away their subscription fee finally. I think that the MMO, I don't think people are really interested in paying a subscription fee anymore for MMOs. It's just done with that.
You think it's over?
I think so.
Or you're done with it? Or do you think it's something that people are just kind of done with as a whole?
I've been done with it for a while now. I think that there are so many great experiences out there that you can get when you just buy a game that I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of like, for me, there was a time when WoW was a lot like Rock Band, right? When all my friends played it all the goddamn time, and then it was kind of like just one by one they all dropped off, and now none of them really care except for the 2 or 3 of them that are the most diehard of all time. I haven't tried to get back into it for Jeff versus Beer, and it just didn't really do anything for me.
It seems like you encounter people who play WoW now, and you're like, whoa, Really? You're one of those people. Because it's like there are so many people who will devote themselves to WoW, but don't really consider themselves gamers because they don't play anything else. It's like once WoW is done, they'll go back to, their kickball league or taking their kids to soccer or some shit like that. It's a very insular environment, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And then last up, you probably weren't around when we talked about this the first time, but Microsoft has been teasing for a while that there's going to be a new Battletoads game. And there was another one at GDC where they teased it, where they had a screen with Shovel Knight and a bunch of the Battletoads coming down and jumping on the screen. So I have a feeling that before too long, we're going to be seeing an announcement that there's going to be a new Battletoads in development. Do you care? Battletoads,
No.
care? Okay.
No, it's they were all named after pimples, and that was always a big turnoff for me.
Rash, Zitz, and was Pimple the third one?
Yeah, something like that. And I was just like, I always thought that was gross.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that was it. Rash, Zitz, and Pimple.
Zitz, Rash, and Pimple. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I don't need any of that. Also, the game was really difficult.
It was. It was very difficult. Well, with that, we're going to go ahead. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to answer your questions, ladies and gentlemen. mail@rageselect.com is the email address. So stick around, and we will be back momentarily. And we are back. And I just realized that we didn't discuss a very important piece of news before we went to break.
What? What's the news? What?
Well, I don't know if you've ever heard of this movie. There's this movie called the Avengers, something like that. And they're making a sequel to it. The first one didn't really do very well, I don't think, but they're still making another one. Just stop. Put your.
Oh, yeah.
Am I playing Five Nights at Is this Five Nights at Jason's at this point?
Let me see the vision again, baby. You know what I want. Yeah. Let's watch that again with all of you jumping out of the Quinjet like that. Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna
you're
leave
so
down.
dirty, Joss Whedon. You're so dirty. Oh.
Okay, are you done?
I'm almost done. I'm almost done. I'm done.
Why do I record this? Why do I record this podcast with headphones on? I've now been auditorily molested by Jason Murphy. I think can't be the first time though, right?
No, not at all. In fact, usually I just put my dick directly in your ear.
Yeah, well, that's different. That's just sexual assault. But no, the new Avengers teaser 3. I feel like anybody who's familiar with comic books or has read even a smattering of Avengers comics, it's the only problem that I really have with this, Jason, is that the plot is kind of transparent from a mile away. Like, I'm not going to go into details, but if you've read comics, you can look at even just the trailers, right, and kind of go, I can kind of see exactly what you guys are going to do here.
Yeah,
because
so what? Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, he came from Krypton, and now he's got superpowers. I wonder what's going to happen when he gets bitten by the spider. Oh, shit. The rich kid's parents got gunned down in the alley. What's he going to do now? Yeah, whatever. Whatever. Who cares? Show me the good shit.
I guess that when the original Avengers was coming out, I guess I don't really remember very much about that same time period. I guess I don't feel like I was inundated as much with the trailers and stuff before that came out. But I don't know. It looks, no part of that trailer does not look badass. And I can't wait to see it.
That trailer, I have watched it more times than is healthy.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched it a lot. I've watched it a lot. I've rubbed up against it. I've written it letters. Mm-hmm. I baked it a nice meatloaf.
Mm-hmm.
Still hasn't returned my calls, but god damn does it look good.
Yeah. Yeah, it really does. I think the thing that was most interesting to me when I watched it was the fact that just like the whole thing I was talking about with video games, I was like, yeah, Avengers 2, it's coming out sometime. I don't care, in a million years or whatever. I'll just keep waiting. But it's like, what, a month? 2 months? 2 months? March? Like beginning of March?
Yeah, May.
Okay.
May.
So, yeah, 2 months from now, we will have Avengers 2. And then what's the first one that's going to be out after that? What's the next one in the Marvel MCU?
Oh, what is it?
Ant-Man?
Ant-Man. I think it's probably Ant-Man. Yeah, no, doesn't Ant-Man come out like this summer?
And isn't Ant-Man is part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right?
Yeah, absolutely is. Yeah. No, Ant-Man comes out July 17th, 2015. So, yeah, we're going to have 2 Marvel Universe movies coming out this summer.
Wait, what the fuck, man? Like, okay, Avengers, okay, I understand it's because of summer releases, right? But, like, why can't, so May 1st, Age of Ultron, July 17th, 2 months later, Ant-Man, and then it's like a year before the Captain America Civil War from Phase 3 comes out. Like, space that shit out, man. Give me, like...
when does Guardians 2 will probably be 2017, right?
Well, I'm looking at the Wikipedia page here. It says Captain America Civil War, May 6th, 2016. Doctor Strange, November 4th, 2016. Guardians 2, May 5th, 2017. Thor Ragnarok, November 3rd, 2017. These might just be estimated. And then Avengers Part 3, Part 1, May 4th of 2018. Black Panther, July 2018. Captain Marvel, November 2nd, 2018. Avengers 3 Part 2, 2019. Inhumans, 2019. Wow.
Hell, man, I'm going to be dead by then.
You think so?
Yeah,
Just
definitely.
Straight up, just Taco Bell OD at this point?
Yeah, something like that, probably.
Those motherfuckers at Taco Bell, they have screwed me for the last time.
What?
Last night I went to Taco
Jeff,
Bell.
Think about what you're saying.
Oh, no, it's
Don't say anything you can't take back.
We're done. And I always hated your mother, Taco Bell. No, I went, okay, so there was a thing on the Taco Bell menu. It was this crispy potato, soft taco, and I liked it a lot. It was my jam, right? It was on a 99-cent menu. It's great. Get them all the time. Then they changed it so that it's like they changed all the shit that I liked on that menu. So now that's the spicy version of that shit, right? It's a spicy potato taco. But it was just the sauce. You could have them put the original Baja sauce on it instead of the Chipotle sauce. Last night I go over there and I'm just like, yeah, can I get that taco? But can I get it with Baja sauce? And they're like, oh, I'm sorry. We don't have Baja sauce here anymore. I'm like, what? What? I mean, how hard is it, motherfucking Taco Bell, for you guys to keep one of the sauces around? Seriously. I mean, fuck's sake, man. It just pisses me off. Anyway, to the questions. Mail@rageselect.com is the email address, and we've got a bunch of questions this week. Some of them are a bit long, so I might paraphrase a little bit, but the first one comes in from I can never remember whether this is Oni's Laughter, but I'm pretty sure it's Oni Slaughter. Who says, greetings and salutations, masters of the rage. Recently, I just finished the game The Order 1886. While I find the game a bit dragging through most parts because it's heavy cinematics and its simple cover/shooter mechanics, I found the story and the characters very engaging and entertaining, so that overall I found the game enjoyable. Just not worth $60. After finishing it, I couldn't help but wonder, with all the mixed reviews from both critics and users, if they're ever going to make a sequel to this game. And sure enough, the studio Ready at Dawn has confirmed that there's a sequel in the works, just waiting for Sony to finally greenlight the project. That got me excited. It got me very excited that while the first game had its flaws, the sequel has the potential to blow its predecessor right out of the water, the perfect example being Assassin's Creed. While the first one was okay, the second one showed us how awesome the franchise could be. So my question is this: can you guys name more examples of gaming franchises that started pretty weak but ended up going strong? And if you finish The Order 1886, what do you guys hope to see in their next game? Keep up the awesome work as always. Yours truly, Oni Slaughter.
Well, for the next Order 1886, I hope to see an actual video game. As far as franchises that started off weak, I think, he already mentioned a good one in there, and that's Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Because the Assassin's Creed was really almost kind of a proof of concept. It started off like, oh, this is a cool idea, but it's very repetitive. And then once we got a few entries into it, we started to really experience some spectacular games. I'm trying to think of another one that started off kind of weak and then really, really improved over time, because usually it's the opposite, right? Usually it starts off strong and then the subsequent sequels just kind of run it into the ground.
I don't know if this really... no, you know what? I'm going to say this probably counts. But see, the thing is that it wasn't... Okay. That's kind of a cheat. I was going to say one that... Grand Theft Auto. The first Grand Theft Auto, I remember when I played it, it was amazing, right? It was something I'd never seen before. But the difference between GTA 1, GTA 2, and then GTA 3, where they went into 3D, it's like they really stepped up their game in GTA 3. One was really, it was fun. It was very fun. I remember when I first got my hands on it, I was like, great. But I didn't have the just overwhelming desire to keep playing it like I did with 3 and then Vice City and San Andreas and, every one that's come out since then. Also, I know that when we started playing Mass Effect 2 for our new sequential, a lot of people out there seem to like Mass Effect 1 more than Mass Effect 2. I didn't. I liked Mass Effect 1. I really, really did. But the characters in Mass Effect 2 I thought were far more memorable. I mean, in the first one, you meet Garrus and you meet Rex for the first time. But, like, Kaidan and Ashley... Ashley's kind of racist and Kaidan's kind of a dip. Like Liara, I'll take the Asari from Mass Effect 2 over Liara any day. The one that's like the crazy intergalactic space monk lady, right?
Right.
Or like Jack, or Rex is definitely better than Grunt. I like Rex better than Grunt because Rex is the shit, right? But
indeed.
And, Jacob, I could kind of take it or leave it, but I always thought the characters in the second one, and even the combat in the second one to me felt better. But I know, if just from the comments on the videos that we put up there, I know there are a hell of a lot of people that like the story and the way that the game world was put together in Mass Effect 1 a lot more than they did 2. But I thought that 2 was really a big step up from the first one. But see, that's the thing, is that I can't think of many things where the first one was just solidly disappointing as much as, because even Assassin's Creed 1, like the way I felt about Assassin's Creed 1, I did not feel as negatively about that as I do about the Order 1886, to be honest. The Order 1886 just felt like it was dragging shit out, like just padding, and even the story to that game was just bleh. I'm trying to think. Let's see. Think of other stuff in that. For my money, I didn't really get into Elder Scrolls until Skyrim, but that's probably more of a fault with me and my proclivities for what kind of games I
had always seen the Elder Scrolls game floating around, and back in the day, if you were a PC gamer or at least followed gaming at all, you knew how insanely buggy the early Elder Scrolls games were.
Yeah.
There were people still like doing like community patches a few years ago, actually. But yeah, I didn't really play much of those Elder Scrolls or Daggerfall or Arena or whatever, but I played Morrowind quite a bit and Oblivion quite a bit. Never did finish those two. I spent a lot of time in Morrowind, but it was one of those games to where if you put it down for any amount of time and then came back to it, you would quickly realize that you had no idea what the hell was going on.
Oh yeah. I'm looking at some listings of larger franchises here, just trying to get an idea. I tell you what, it wouldn't be. It's probably not a very popular opinion, but I just could not. Ocarina of Time could not get its hooks into me for love or money. Just kind of had to force myself to play it. Didn't have the nostalgia factor to think about it. But on the other hand, Majora's Mask grabbed me by the jimmies and just did not let go. Like, that game was great, and it was such a breath of fresh air from that Zelda franchise that I would probably I'd probably put that on the list. Thinking Halo, Halo. I still don't really regard the first Halo very well.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I know that. Oh, what am I? I'm just dragging everybody's sacred cows out here. I'm like, you know what else sucks is fun. I hate fun as well. But see, I guess that's the thing is that I can't think of any franchise that I just straight up hated the first one and then loved the second one. I can think of ones where I thought the first one was okay and I thought the second one was awesome.
Yeah, that's well. I mean, I think that applies to the question, right?
Yeah. I mean, I was listening to this list. Call of Duty was one of those ones where Call of Duty 1 and 2 and 3 all came out when I was goddamn sick of World War II games. And even though I played 2, I think I played a demo for 2, and I was like, it's great. It seems like a very fun game. I'm just really tired of shooting Nazis in the face. And then when 4 came out, I was just all over it. Just loved the shit out of it. I don't know. Can you think of anything else?
That's tough. No, like I was saying, most franchises that start off bad don't continue, and most of them that start off good get worse.
Yeah.
So I think his question is actually kind of a rare example of when they start off and then they really, really improve. So yeah, I don't think there are going to be a lot of examples of that.
Oh, I could think of one. It's kind of an up and down thing, but I loved Far Cry 1. I did not care for Far Cry 2 for the life of me.
I never did play Far Cry 2.
Yeah.
I really liked Far Cry 1 and loved Far Cry 3 and Far Cry 4, but I didn't play 2.
Yeah. 2 is weird. You had malaria, so it's like you had to keep getting malaria.
Oh, right.
Medication. And like any gun you picked up from an enemy was garbage, so that it would shoot 4 bullets and then jam, and you have to unjam it. And I don't know, it just didn't really do it for me. Anyway, I think we could move on from that. Sex comes in from Jiu-Jitsu, who says, "Hello, Ragecasters. Do you think a game could have been vastly improved if there had been a change of perspective, like how a first-person shooter should be third-person and vice versa? Can you think of a game, Jason, where you would rather, like, just switching from first-person to third-person, you think would have made it more effective as a game?"
That, that's a good question.
I was thinking.
Go ahead.
Well, I was reading an article, or I just glanced today at an article. I glanced at the headline, so I could be totally mistaken this, but it's talking with the developers over at Creative Assembly about Alien Isolation and how apparently they did some prototyping early on with it of making it a third-person game instead of a first-person game. And I think that I think in a lot of ways that could have made the game a lot more accessible because you could hide behind stuff and then see other things with the camera around that instead of being stuck in a first person mode and just sitting at an event, holding up a motion detector and seeing if there's anything on it. I'm trying to think of anything that was like third person that would have been better as first person.
Yeah, I'm not really coming up with anything right now. I'm trying to think of some good examples. But nothing's... let me ask you this. What do you think of Metal Gear as a first person?
I think you run into the same problem that you run into with what I was just talking about with Alien Isolation, is that for stealth games, third person works way better because in first person you have to actually be looking at whoever it is that you're hiding from. And so it makes it a lot more difficult because you have to keep the first-person camera is connected to the player in a way that you run into really ridiculous situations where you're peeking out from behind a thing and looking right at an enemy, and they're looking where you are, and they can't see you, with your head popped up. It's also easier to do a lot of the more acrobatic things that the Metal Gear franchise does. I mean, you could play Metal Gear Solid 4, I think, in first person. You could play the entire game like a first-person shooter if you wanted to. It's funny. Actually, I think that there's actually there's a franchise. There's a mod out there for a franchise that I have been forbidden to speak of that changes it from third person to first person.
Nope,
and
doesn't count. Moving on.
after wait, stick with me here. After seeing the difference that in just thrills and terror and adrenaline that the switch from third to first person in GTA 5 made, and especially because that franchise that I can't say the name of was that same company did Kingsfield, which was kind of a first-person perspective.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah,
version of the same thing, where you can actually see where you might even be able to ratchet up some of the tension and some of the terror in that franchise by having a game that has that very real consequences, very high learning curve difficulty, but then making the perspective from first person might even heighten just the sense of kind of tension that you get when you're playing the game, because you're seeing that stuff, you're seeing yourself get hit, or you're seeing monsters come at you, right, but they're getting right up into your face instead of hitting an avatar that you're seeing on the screen. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that I think could go both, that you could see could be interesting if you change stuff. Like if you made Gears of War a third person or a first person game, I mean, you'd have to dramatically change it. But I just want to see the chainsaw gun in first person go through somebody.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be curious to see Red Dead Redemption first person, or Fallout third person.
Well, you can play Fallout in third person.
You can. That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. I chose not to, but yeah. And maybe that'll just be a default option on future Rockstar games. Is okay. Do you want to play this in first person or third person?
Yeah. God damn! I hope they announce Fallout 4 at that dumb conference that they're having.
It's past time. It really is past time,
motherfuckers. It might be interesting to play something like, after playing Dying Light, it might be interesting to play something like Assassin's Creed from a first-person perspective, where you could really get that kind of jumping from rooftop to rooftop type of thing. It might even be a little bit more thrilling if you had a character that had the mobility of an Assassin's Creed character, but you were doing it all from a first-person perspective. In fact, you can even do things in that franchise where, like, when you stealthily assassinate somebody, if you imagine the moves where he gets up really close to somebody and then stabs them. If when you do that, you're in first-person perspective and you see their face get real close to yours and go for a second before you go walking away, that could be really cool.
Yeah, that's always the problem though with jumping games, in that it really, really inhibits your, the visibility and the control that you have if you're playing it in first person.
You know what? Why don't they do it like they did in goddamn Riddick? Remember that, where it was like it was all in first person, but then when you got into a platforming segment, it would zoom the camera out and you would climb up. You could see yourself from the outside so that you could, or like Rainbow Six Vegas.
Yeah.
Did the same thing where you were in first person, but then when you went into cover, it bopped out into third person. Wonder why more games don't do that. All right, next up, this comes from Tom. Tom says, "Dear Jeff and Jason, do you guys have any interest in tabletop games such as D&D, board games, or card games? My boyfriend got me into these a few years ago with Munchkin and Boss Monster quickly becoming my favorite card games. We also own an adorably dark board game called Mice and Mystics, where you play as a group of heroes who've been transformed into mice and must scurry through a castle to save the king from the evil princess. I really want to get into D&D and Pathfinder, but organizing a night around everyone's work and university timetables is a scheduling nightmare. Are there any video games you'd like to see as board games or card games, or vice versa? May your belly become bloated and full with the creamy wisdom of the Dawn Lord's mighty blessing."
Oh, my.
Tom.
Oh, my.
Give it to me Takei style. That's what you need.
Oh, my. No, I actually play D&D once a week. I've always had a fascination with Dungeons & Dragons since I was a kid, but growing up in a small town, I didn't really have any access to the source material or anything like that. There was nowhere to get it. So I ended up making up my own. And so as an adult, I've ended up trying to make up for lost time. And so I play Dungeons & Dragons with Allison and a few others every Friday. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot of fun. I still don't think... I mean, I know there are... Like Neverwinter, for instance, is still a game, an MMO that's in production right now. But I don't know that there has been a quintessential... Is it done?
I think it's actually out, yeah. I think it's actually out, and you can play it right now.
Oh no, that's what I'm sorry. I used the wrong words. Yes, it's out. It's out there. You can play it.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't. I still haven't seen in a long time like a quintessential Dungeons and Dragons video game. I want to say that the last one that really nailed it was like Baldur's Gate. And there have been many since then, and all the gold box stuff before then. But I've yet to see something that why don't we have something that that plays like Assassin's Creed but features like Drizzt Do'Urden, of the Dark Elf Saga or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
As far as like board games that I'd like to see translated into video games, I'd like to play Arkham Horror as a video game because I do not have the fucking patience to interpret those goddamn rules of the board game. It's just impenetrable. We bought this $80 board game, and Allison and I sat there for 3 hours reading the instructions when I finally said, all right, you know what? I'm done. If you figure this out, you let me know and we'll play it. But I'm fucking done trying to hack my way through this morass of rules and all of this shit. It's like, I adore Lovecraft, but there's only so much shit I can put up with. So yeah, if you take that and turn it into a video game, yeah, I'll play it. That would be fantastic.
Okay. I for my money, I know there is some kind of online version, but why in the name of almighty Dongacles don't they put Cards Against Humanity on the PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox 360, Xbox
yeah.
One? Like, I just don't understand why, because that's the sort of thing where it's, it's not incredibly difficult to get a game of it together, but it's so easy to play and it's so fun. And you could set up the cameras for those systems so that you could see other people's faces and dongs, probably, because that's what happens when you have a camera. But I hear there's a lot of nudity on Uno on the Xbox 360.
Really?
Yeah. Anytime there's a camera set up and people have access to it, you're gonna see some brain hanging. That's just what's gonna happen.
Dicks out of nowhere.
Yep.
Yeah. Don't expect to see some beautiful naked ladies or anything like that. Nope. It's going to be hanging brain.
Yep. It's going to be people showing you their... There's a certain degree of people in this world, they want you to look at their dick. And I don't understand why they want you to look at their dick. I don't know. I've never really been like, you know what I want to do is go out tonight and make everybody look at my dick. Just... I feel like there's those people, whenever there's a new technology that comes out anywhere, they're just like, yes, but can I use it to make people look at my penis? Because that's what I'm really in this for.
That's what all technology is for, is, trying to find a way to make people look at your dong.
Yep. As other stuff, I know that you actually played some, I don't really play that many pen and paper games just because... not because I don't like to, but because, I ran a couple of D&D campaigns, and I had this one friend who just fucked my game up every time. Like, I'd spend hours putting stuff together, and he'd just tear the game to the ground. He'd be like, well, my character doesn't take shit from other characters. I'm like, this is a god. It's not another character. It's the lord of this realm who is asking you politely to do a thing, and if you don't do it, he's going to smite you. And he'd be like, yeah, well, tell him to suck my cock. And I'd be like, he's going to give you one more chance. All right, tell him to suck both my cocks. And I'd be like, okay, you're dead. We've been playing for 15
you're playing
minutes.
with the wrong guys.
I know.
And I've got a pretty good idea of who you're talking about.
Yep.
And you're going to have to cut them loose because they're being problematic just to be problematic. And they're not having any fun with the game. So fuck them. It's like, oh, I get it. That's clever. Nobody ever thought of killing the shopkeeper and taking all of his stuff. Nobody ever thought of telling everyone to fuck off. It's like, what are you, new? Shut up.
Yeah. But as then I got into a situation where I had a couple friends who were really way into buying different board games and playing them. But I gotta say, man, I hate that shit because they're always like, ooh, we should play this new game. I just got it and it's amazing. And be like, okay. So it takes an hour to tell you what the rules are. There's 16 different game pieces, 12 different sorts of dice, a million chits, and a whole rule of what you've got to knock 3 times before your next turn comes up, and do a dance whenever phase 6 happens. And as soon as you figure it out, the people who have played this game 4 times before are just whooping your ass the entire time.
Yeah, it's like Dungeons and Dragons, you know? It's like there are too many damn rules.
Well, see, I guess that's the thing is that D&D 3rd Edition, I mean, I haven't played any outside of that, but D&D should be set up so that you can relatively easily explain to people the way to play the game, and then it should be more about role-playing in an RPG. Crazy. But you played some Deadlands a few weeks ago, right?
Yeah, we didn't finish, but we've got another one coming up at the end of the month. So, yes.
I feel like that would be a good game to translate into a video game franchise.
I'd love to see that. Horror Western? Yes.
Mm-hmm. You just don't see that genre is very poorly represented in pretty much all mediums, right? But that would probably make for a really good game. So, yeah. That was both questions, right? Any games you're into?
I think so. Yeah, good enough. Right. Move on.
All right, next one comes in from Composite Who Horrible, who says, salutations, Jeff and Jason. What is the best way you have found to deal with aggressively invasive people? And I don't know what this next sentence means, Jason, but maybe you do. I recently had a person contact my place of work because he had a friend look over one of my social media pages. Is it best that I talk to him directly about it, or should I simply update my social media privacy settings and let it go? Sorry for the bummer question. So to make up for it, place song-related reference here. What? So to make up for it, place song-related reference here.
Back it up. What? What happened? What?
Okay. Oh, hold on. I'm going to finish this out, and then we'll interpret the question, and then we'll answer. Always love your show, and have been voting each day for the podcast awards. Thank you very much. Cheers from your friend Composite Who Horrible. So he says, I recently had a person contact my place of work because he had a friend look over one of my social media pages. I don't understand what that means entirely.
I don't know what that means, so I think we should disqualify it, throw it into the bin. It's done.
Okay. Sorry, man. Maybe you write it more and send it in, and we'll catch it next time. All right. This next one comes in from Joe.
Yeah,
What's
fine.
that?
Whatever. Do it. No, nothing. Go.
Were you going to answer it? Were you going to come back with an answer?
No. I had no idea what he was talking about.
Okay. All right. This comes in from Joe. Joe says, hello, gentlemen of the low-hanging dong. Joe here, and it has been too long since I saw you at RTX, and I will do my damnedest to get down there again. Anyway, I've been writing an animated sci-fi miniseries, but so far, I've only really managed to write the outline for the pilot. I know where I want the characters to go, but I just can't figure out how to get them there because they both are way out of their comfort zones and have become wanted criminals. Any help you can give a writer with writer's block? Also, I came to a situation where in the plot, they had to hijack a starship and took the pilot hostage. The problem was I didn't know what to do with this character. It's like the early episodes of Breaking Bad where it's a bad idea to let this guy go, but morally dark to kill him in cold blood. I'm still not sure what to do with this character that will make sense for the story. Any help you guys can give would be gold. Sincerely, Joe. And I picked this one because, Jason, you're a world-famous writer and TV actor, so I figured if anybody could help poor Joe here, it would be you.
Yeah, Joe, this is an unusual question, but really, whenever you have a character and you don't know what to do with them, think about introducing a rape yeti into the story.
Kill them.
And that it'll pretty much solve itself after that point. No, I mean, really, you got to get into these characters' heads. And if you're at this point and you don't know what to do from there, you really got to think about, okay, characters, what would they do? What is the most likely thing that they would do? You know, and you really have to understand, you know, what they're doing. And you can paint yourself into some interesting corners. And that's not necessarily a bad thing because there's some creativity that comes with trying to paint to get out of those corners. So, yeah, understand your characters. And really, if you don't know what to do next with your characters, maybe you need to take a step back and develop them a little bit more.
Or, I mean, if you find yourself, I mean, if you're, he says he's outlining it right now, right? Like, if you find yourself in a position where these guys take this ship guy hostage and you don't want him to kill him and it's not going to be a running character, maybe go back and change that so they don't take him hostage. They just throw him off the ship and steal his ship, right? Like,
or, again, if you're outlining it, think about what makes the most logical sense based on the universe you've set up and what decisions the characters would make.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. As far as writer's block go, do you have problems with writer's block?
No, I never do. I'm lucky.
Fancy Jason.
I know. I'm lucky in that sense, but I never have any trouble with writer's block. I always have like too much to write about, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that it's always my big problem is staying focused, and just finishing one thing before I move on to the next one. But if you have a problem with writer's block, step away from it and write something else. Hopefully, you've got more than one idea, so just start working on the other thing, and that'll shake stuff loose. Or go for a walk, or read or watch some things that inspire you. And hopefully that'll help kind of kickstart the creative process for you.
Or do shots.
I may have a little bit of scotch before I get writing. That's not a little bit, you know.
Yeah, I
you
mean,
don't
not
want to overdo it.
Not Jeff versus beer levels, but like two shots, loosen your juices up there, man. Like
then you can't even read, much less write.
Yeah. It's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Illiterate or something like that. All right, so let's see. We got a few more here. This next one comes in from our friend Andre, who writes in quite a bit, who says, hello to all the blessed children of the mighty Dong. This is Andre from Ecuador, now Andre from Houston, but it doesn't sound as good. Anyway, my question for Rage Select comes from the new trailer for the Avengers 2. Although I cannot shake the feeling the plot is going to be almost the same as the first Avengers. Bad guys create a rift, bad guys, huge army, etc., etc. I'm still excited to go see it. Cannot say the same about Batman versus Superman. So my question is, what would you like to see from DC to make you excited about their movie? Or maybe should they not show too much and let people be surprised when it's out? Sorry for the long mail. Keep on raging. Andre from wherever.
Well, that's you have to have a trailer. You have to. I think there might be. I think if you premiere it, there's some sort of regulation with the MPAA in that 6 months before a movie you have to premiere a trailer or something like that. I'm
really?
unclear on that. Yeah, I'm unclear on that, but there's something like that. I don't know. I don't know if you have to have a trailer or if it's. Well, if you're going to have a trailer, you have to have it within this time frame. But yeah, there's some restrictions like that. But as far as like Batman versus Superman or whatever, I'm going to watch it anyway. I don't care. Give me a trailer. Don't give me a trailer. Whatever. I'm going to go see it. It doesn't matter.
Well, okay, but I guess the reason I picked this was because I like the idea of this. What would you wave your magic wand? What could DC do to make you more excited about this?
I'm already excited. Yeah, I'm already into it. You just got finished
saying I don't care.
No. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to see it anyway, but I don't care if they show me a trailer or not. It's like, yeah, I'm going to see the movie. What could they do to make me even more excited? Shit, man, I don't know. I don't know.
Fire Zack Snyder.
Promise me that they're not going to have like endless origin stories for all the characters.
Okay, so is Batman versus Superman the Justice League, the first Justice League movie? That's why they got the Wonder Woman and Aquaman and all that stuff going on?
From what I understand, kind of, but from what I've read, that it's like Aquaman is just going to be like basically a cameo appearance, and Wonder Woman might be a little bit larger, and so you got 4 right there. So the other 3 are probably what? Flash, Green Lantern, and Cyborg, Martian Manhunter, Green Arrow. I don't know.
I think it's going to be Cyborg, unless they're going to do
because he's black and
unless they do
affirmative
Jon
action
Stewart.
in movies, or Jon Stewart, Well, that's the thing is that no, it's totally what it is, and I don't think it's a bad idea, but it is totally affirmative action in superhero films. It's like, let's make this Green Lantern Jon Stewart because the Justice League cartoon is looking mighty white. And good. I'm glad they did that. So put some racial diversity in there. Let's keep it from being this vanilla party that it has been.
They actually have already cast Cyborg.
They have?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. This is just on the Wikipedia page. Ray Fisher. I don't know who that is.
Beats me.
Anyway, sorry. I don't entirely understand why they're going. I mean, maybe they're just DC is just paralyzed to being compared to Marvel in this, which I think no matter what they do, they're going to get compared to Marvel. But I honestly do not understand why they don't make, why they don't just treat the movies that have been out before, like the Ed Norton Hulk movie. Make a Superman movie, make a Batman movie, make an Aquaman movie, make a Wonder Woman movie. Why not make one of every one of these instead of just? It looks like they're going with. I mean, because I was looking at when I looked up the Ray Fisher on Wikipedia and I scrolled down to his filmography. It's like Superman vs. Batman: Dawn of Justice, then Justice League Part 1, Justice League Part 2, then in 2020 the Cyborg standalone movie.
2020,
and it's like, wait, what? You're doing this entirely backwards, you guys. Like, I just don't understand why they feel the need to start with the Justice League and then spin from there into different movies when you could. It seems like if they start with just cramming them all together in this Justice League movie, that the first half of the movie is going to be 5-minute origin stories for everybody. I don't know. Plus, I don't understand what they're doing here. Like, is the kid obviously the kid from the CW Flash isn't going to be the Flash in the movie, and is Green Arrow's obviously not going to have any connection, or I don't know, maybe he is going to have a connection to the movie. It just seems like they're going about it all wrong and backwards. If they wanted to make me more excited about this, I mean, I wasn't kidding about that Zack Snyder thing. I think that I think he's kind of a tool personally, or I don't know. He's made some relatively decent movies, but I just think that he's kind of making the same. I did not care for Man of Steel. I
liked it,
and I don't like that his gritty fucking rendition of Superman. I just don't like it. I think Superman. And it's not even that there's anything wrong with it. It's just not what I'm really interested in. But honestly, just the fact that this whole film is being built as Superman versus Batman. You just go, God,
it's like,
damn, man,
if
really?
you want Superman versus Batman to have any sort of impact, you really have to have the relationship between Superman and Batman. Because that was the whole thing in Dark Knight Returns, is that they were friends, and now they're fighting to the death. That's why it had so much impact. Now it's just like, oh, we're going to have them fight right when they meet. And, nobody cares. Whatever. That's typical comic book shit.
Well, but what was the DC one where Joker comes to Metropolis to swap the heroes with Lex, essentially, right? You remember which one I'm talking about?
I don't remember, but I know what you're talking about.
That was okay because it was very quick between like Superman and Batman, and Superman looks under Batman's mask. I mean, that was what I remember from that, is that Superman uses X-ray vision to look under Batman's mask. He's like, Bruce Wayne, and Batman's like, fuck you, dude. And then it's like, at the end, Batman throws down a smoke pellet, and he poofs out, and then Superman goes home and he gets ready for bed, and he finds a little bug on his cape, and he looks out the window, and Batman's like looking at him through binoculars, and he knows who he is now, and it was kind of great. But I just worry that the whole thing is going to devolve into some overly gray and gritty proselytizing about what it means to be a hero, and everybody's all gritting their teeth because it's super dark. You just go, fuck, man. As they said recently, Jeff, DC movies are more edgy than Marvel movies. Oh my God! Yeah,
that's what one of the Warner Brothers execs said. It's like that's not necessarily a good thing. guys.
Let David Fincher direct Batman versus Superman, and then we could talk about who's edgy. That's what we want to see. Make Gone Girl the prequel to Superman. Like, Ben Affleck just became Batman after that movie because he was so pissed off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really super excited for it. I'm definitely go see it. I'm sure it'll be meh because Zack Snyder has a high enough approval rating that people will continue to let him ruin comic book movies, just like he did with fucking Watchmen. So, eat a dick, Zack Snyder. All right, let's see. We got this one's a bit long, so I'm going to skip that one. This one comes in from Hatrix43, and he says, "Hey, Jeff and Jason, Hatrix43 here. You guys do a fantastic job every day, and thank you for all the great content. Star Wars Dark Forces just had its 20-year anniversary. Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
Damn. I wanted to get your thoughts on that and Star Wars video games in general. Which one's got it right? Which one's got it wrong? What are you looking for in the new Star Wars games coming up? Battlefront and the unnamed one Amy Hennig is working on. All the best, Hatrix43. P.S. Jeff, why are you not using the Patreon funds to build a Sentinel?
Yeah, Jeff.
Because I'm not, what's his face? Peter Dinklage. I don't know how.
Rage Select needs a Sentinel to do its bidding, dude. Come on.
To take care of the mutant problem?
Oh, no, just bidding. Just bidding in general. Like, hey, Sentinel, go get Jeff some Panda Express.
Right.
Bam.
Okay, I don't think we have the money to afford a 2-story tall Sentinel, but we might have the money to swing that really creepy robot from, like, what was it, Rocky 3? This is Butler.
Dude. Yes.
Was it Rocky 3 where he had the robot butler?
It was Rocky 3, and I will agree to this only if we can teach it to kill.
Okay. Well, of course, it's got to be trained to kill.
And we can test it on Grant.
Okay. Wait, fuck Rocky 3 robot. I don't want Johnny 5, man. I want to build myself a Johnny 5 robot.
Oh, you mean Chappie?
No, not Chappie.
Who's Chappie? He said. And I'm not going to sing El DeBarge anymore. That's all. That's all I got.
Yeah, I don't know. Chappie, whatever. Anyway, let's see. Star Wars games that got it right. Anything before? There was a certain moment. I don't remember what the moment was. Jason, what was the moment where LucasArts turned shitty?
Man, it was right after Grim Fandango. Basically, anything after Grim Fandango.
Yeah, before that,
they had one called like Heaven and Hell, which was bad. But I mean,
Heaven and Hell was interesting.
It was okay.
That was after that, I think.
It was after Grim Fandango. Yeah.
No, I think it was before. Are you talking about Afterlife?
Oh, that might be what I'm talking about.
Where it was like it was Sim City, but you had both a heaven and hell, and they kind of reflected each other.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. Super Star Wars, that was great. Rebel Assault is a shitty game, but it was great for the time because of the full motion video. X-Wing, TIE Fighter, we've already spent a lot of time licking those nuts. You know where I could say is, for me, I think it was right around the time when, Grim Fandango. That's perfect. And then there's the expansion to Jedi Knight, and then so there's Grim Fandango in 1998, and then later on in 1998 Star Wars Masters of Terras Kasi, the beginning of the end, and then Rebellion, and then Episode 1 The Phantom Menace, Episode 1 Pod Racing, X-Wing Alliance, Star Wars Demolition.
Star Wars Demolition, Jesus.
Force Commander. Yep.
Force Commander
Obi-Wan.
with that remix of the classic John Williams score that was a fucking atrocity.
Super Bombad Racing. Bounty Hunter. Yep.
That happened. Okay.
Yep.
Good Star Wars games. The original vector-based Raid on the Death Star. Just Star Wars.
Sure.
That was a good one. Super Star Wars on the Super Nintendo. Let's not talk about the 8-bit Nintendo Star Wars game because it was like, wait, this is Star Wars? I don't understand. This doesn't even seem like Star Wars at all. There were some side-scroller elements and shit like that. Super Empire Strikes Back, Super Return of the Jedi. Those 3 games on the Super Nintendo were top-notch. And then,
X-Wing,
of course,
TIE Fighter.
X-Wing, TIE Fighter, not XVT, that was not very good. Not X-Wing Alliance, that one was not very good. But Dark Forces 2, Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy, that whole thing, those were all great. Mm-hmm. Those were all really good. Really good games. But then you had like everything that Jeff mentioned, all of the Shadows of the Force game, Shadows of the Empire, all of that shit.
With Dash Rendar? Come on, you get to pilot a snow speeder. Woo!
Yeah, Dash Rendar, because Han Solo's in Carbonite. So we're going to make somebody who's just like Han Solo.
So here's the thing.
Give me a fucking break.
I know that all the Rogue Squadron games came out after that, but I never really played those because
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were they good?
Yeah, I on the GameCube, and I have. It got to the point where they were repeating themselves, to where most of the Rogue Squadron games, it was kind of the same thing over and over. Mm-hmm. But I have they all kind of run together because they're so similar. But I have one of the Rogue Squadron games and Rogue Leader. I was actually talking to Chepo about that this weekend. Those are actually really cool, especially in that, hey, we're just going to recreate all of your favorite scenes from the original trilogy. Mm-hmm. And they're a lot of fun. You want to fly on a speeder bike through the Force of Endor? Great, here you go. You want to do the first raid on the Death Star? Here it is. You want to do the second raid on the Death Star? Here you go. You want to navigate through an asteroid field from Empire Strikes Back? Go for it. They were a lot of fun. But again, they got to be very repetitive. And they were just turning out the same thing over and over with a few more features and slightly better graphics.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking down. I don't know. I'm just looking down this list. It seems like at a certain amount of time they finally realized that they could. No. Knights of the Old Republic, yes. God, I'm remembering now all this crap. Star Wars Lethal Alliance. Remember that one, Jason? Probably not.
No, what the hell is that?
PSP and Nintendo DS game about a Twi'lek smuggler and her little droid pal. Yep.
Oh, God.
Yep. Anyway, let's see. So the other side of the question was, what are you looking for in the new Star Wars games? Well, I haven't seen or heard shit about the one that Amy Hennig is working on. So, as long as it's got a good story, I almost feel like as long as it's got a good story, the rest will work itself out. As far as Battlefront goes, I guess there's a little bit more that you could probably inject in there as far as what you're looking for. Did you play either of the other Battlefront games?
I actually bought Battlefront 2 on the PC when it came out, and I logged in, just a couple of times. I honestly, admittedly, did not give it enough of a chance.
Okay.
But it was just, lasers flying everywhere, and it was a little too chaotic for me.
Do you
maybe
think
that was just the levels that I played? Now, it's well documented that I'm a fan of Battlefield.
Right.
So I would very much like to see Star Wars adapted to Battlefield.
Okay.
But Battlefront, from what little I played, didn't seem to be that.
Well, this is. I mean, you have a way better chance of it being the case this time. This is.
Yeah, exactly.
DICE, EA, and
DICE
Frostbite
and everything. Yeah.
Actually, that's supposed to be coming out this year. You want to take odds right now about whether that game's going to come out this year? Get pushed out.
I don't know. I hope so, because I am
Battlefield
all.
Hardline will be a total mess.
But I'm going to give Battlefield Hardline a shot. I didn't play the trailer, but I'm a huge Battlefield fan, and I've been known to enjoy some Star Wars from time to time.
What you know?
Yeah. So you put the peanut butter in the chocolate, and suddenly Jason's got a boner. Wait, did I fuck that metaphor up? I think I might have a little bit.
Is that what it is? Yeah, I don't know. I at this point, I guess I'd kind of like. I know that it's probably not going to happen, but my sincere hope for Star Wars Battlefront would be to fucking ignore the prequels and just make old Star Wars type games and make it bigger. Make it feel bigger. Make it feel like Battlefield 4 size stuff, but then let you drive around shit like an AT-AT, right? And give you a big chunk of people so that you can put together stuff like the Hoth Assault, right? Where you could get, people on one side driving AT-ATs up to people on the other side who are trying desperately not to get killed by AT-ATs or something like that.
Oh, that sounds so fun.
But I have a feeling that they won't do that. I mean, I don't know. It's weird. The prequel, I mean, there's enough large-scale ground battles in the prequels that could be translated in a video game. It's just, I can't tell you how much every time I see a thing that originated in the Star Wars prequels, my boner goes away immediately. I'm just like, you know what I'd like to see is I'd like to see DLC for Star Wars Battlefront that was nothing but all of the missions from the Gennady Tartakovsky Clone Wars cartoon.
Oh, that would be exceptionally rad.
Yeah. And we have one more question left, Jason, and there is no salutation. There is no signature. It just says, "Do you love me?" That's all it says. Do you?
There's no signature?
Yes.
And they're just asking if I love them?
There's no salutation. There is no signature. It just says, "Do you love me?"
To me? Specifically me?
It's an email addressed to mail@rageselect.com. It just says, "Do you love me?" So.
Okay. So we both have to answer.
I guess.
My answer is no. I'm just using you for sex.
Yeah. Sure.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, whatever. Love.
If you can come over and give Jeff a handy, yeah, he loves you.
Yeah, whatever. No, don't do that. Someday somebody's going to take that as a challenge, and then somebody's going to knock on the door, and it's going to be the most awkward conversation of my entire life. Like,
send pictures of your testicles to mail@rageselect.com.
You're still harping on that, man. They haven't. That only
I can't wait for number 3. I can't wait for number 3.
Oh, well, that's our show for the week. Don't forget to go and vote for us in the podcast awards. And if you want to send a question in, send it to mail@rageselect.com. If we got a big slew of questions, if we didn't get to yours this week, send it in again. We tend to record these in the middle of the week, so don't wait until Sunday to send them in. Just send them in immediately when you think of them, and we'll get them answered here. So, yeah, that's about it. So you're gonna go watch that Avengers trailer. How many more times do you think you're gonna watch that Avengers trailer, Jason?
Oh God, until I get all chafed.
Until your dick falls off?
Maybe.